You've talked about in the past how in the playoffs you have certain guys on certain scouts, stuff like that. How important is it? I know it's important all year, but in a playoff setting where things get so defined and stuff like that, to have a coaching staff that's all on the same page and going over, like, every coach is going over individual things. How important is that, like, togetherness in the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to have an alignment into what goes into winning, and we're fortunate to have a group of guys that are hard workers, but they're really smart, talented, and do whatever it takes to win. So it's a credit to them, really. But you have to find the balance. At the end of the day, you can't be blinded by certain things, and the margins and the process and the details are still the most important. But you rely and trust on those guys because of the work that they put in.
Joe, you talk about the preparation is the same, but the circumstances are not. You've got the week off. You started not knowing your opponent. How do you maintain the focus that you need under different circumstances?
It's just the balance and the perspective, right? Like there's things that we can get better at, and so I think it was at the beginning of the week, it was an 80-20 balance, and it became a 70-30 and 60-40, and today is about 50-50, where you're focused on just as much of your opponent as you are on yourself. Focus on the challenges that they present, the things that they're going to do, but at the same time, you don't want to make up something that you don't know if they're going to do it or not, and so you just have to find that balance of focus on the things you need to get better at versus the challenges, that a good team like Orlando presents, and just be ready to whatever the game, tells you to do.
And where are you guys, mentally right now? Are you guys antsy? Is it, it's been a week, fighting each other in practices and stuff like that. Is that a good place to be? If wherever you are now, is it tougher to focus the guys where you want them to be?
I don't know. I mean, we've had a great week of preparation. I don't know where they're at as far as what they're feeling internally, but we've had a great preparation of the week, and we know we got a tough road ahead of us, but we're connected together, have an understanding of what goes into winning. Also, ready to take on whatever each game and each series presents, because it presents different challenges and different opportunities.
Joe, just a thought on following that up, Jaylen's preparation this week. Everything go according to what you thought it would be, and how good do you feel about him being ready to go?
Yeah, he looks good. He was able to do everything, no limitations. He's been great physically, mentally, really preparing himself, ready to go. So, love the week that he had.
What's the plan for him to play tomorrow without restrictions?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you have two teams like this, Orlando fouls a ton. They draw a lot of free throws. You guys don't foul, don't draw many free throws. How do you see that balancing out over the course of a series, like two differences in styles that drastic?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the details and the process of winning and the margins come into play. I mean, everyone gets blinded by playoffs, adjustments, all that stuff, and at the end of the day, it comes down to the margins. It comes down to the process of winning. Every game's a little bit different depending upon those. If you get into a situation where you put these guys at the free throw line because of your undiscipline, they're extremely difficult to guard. If you give them second chance opportunities, they're extremely difficult to guard. If you don't execute and you let them get out in transition, they're very difficult to guard. So, the majority of this comes down to the margins and the details and the physicality and with which you do it.
Joe, the whole year the talk has been we got to focus, not skip any steps, regular season. You want to get back to the playoffs. You want to make that run for another chip, but you got to focus on what you got to do right now. Well, now the guys are here. So how do you balance that excitement? Are these guys antsy to just get out there and play playoff basketball again?
You just asked the same question he did.
Oh,
like I said, we had a great week of preparation. I don't know how the guys are feeling internally. I know that they're connected. I know that we've had a good week. I know we're together, and I know we have an understanding of what the game plan is, what gives us the best chance to win. Also, have an understanding of the challenges that Orlando presents. So, I felt like we've taken advantage of the time and the opportunity that we have, and now it's just time to play. And each game will take on a life of its own, and each series takes on a life of its own. Based on kind of how it goes. So, just gotta be ready for that.
Joe, personally, has your preparation from year one to year three changed in terms of the postseason? Is this kind of old hat now? Like, how do you view this time?
Just pretty much the same, throughout the 3 years. I think, again, it's even more. I think in year one, it was easier to focus on a bunch of different stuff, and as you go through it, it's really, again, it comes down to the margins, the things that go into winning that impact it. Also knowing that there's 10 to 12 plays per game that could change the impact, and you could be playing really well in a series and be tied, and you could be playing poorly in a series and be up, and sometimes those 10 possessions are what dictate being up 2-0 versus down 2-0. So I think as you in most series, the perspective of what goes into winning, you kind of see that more, knowing that each series takes on a life of its own.
Is those 12 plays you'll never? Can you get that to 7? Can you improve that, or is that something you just have to accept that there's always going to be those 12 plays?
No, I think you try to fight to get it to 7 in the playoffs, and you try to minimize those. But there's still, I mean, I can go back into last year, and even though it went, well for us from what we thought, easily, and 10, 12 of those possessions. So you want to minimize those as much as you can. At the same time, it's a game. I mean, it's a free-flowing game. It's a team that's well coached, that has great talent, also trying to, achieve a goal. And so at the end of the day, there is a free-flowing process to that about how the game goes, but you try to control it as much as you can.
Joe, we've heard a lot about Jaylen's Warriors mindset from his teammates and just behind the scenes. Obviously, you know him a lot better than we do. What exactly is that mindset? What have you learned from just coaching him the last 3 years that maybe makes him different than a lot of other people?
I would say his perspective. His perspective, his ability to stay true to himself, his ability to just stay kind of right here, regardless of if it's going well, not going well, doesn't get distracted by things around him, just kind of has an understanding of how things are supposed to go, comfortable with who he is, and just kind of puts himself in position to be effective no matter what. So it just has really good perspective and balance on kind of the things that go into what makes him successful and what makes our team successful.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.